I've watched a lot of people throughout the years try to keep it real in different ways, in their conduct, in
Street
codes, like we talk, just trying to, and we go back to MC Hammer. At that time, I think he was one of the highest paid rappers at that time. This man had a $30 million fortune, and in trying to keep it real and bring the boys along with him and make sure everybody was straight.
That's different though. That's
one form.
Mouth.
Hold on, that's one form of keeping it real.
Yeah, I get it.
Even Dave Chappelle, he did when the Chappelle show was out. He had a skit on talking about how when keeping it real goes wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a time to keep it real. And
that's true.
I remember watching the movie.
Hold on, what's keeping it real? And what you define keeping it real?
I don't know, man. These things have changed over the years.
Now you
keeping
it real. That, and if I say I'm keeping it real, I'm just being me all day.
Right.
Voicing my opinion, giving you what I think that is right in my eyesight. Right. That's just keeping it real.
No, I understand that.
You know what I mean? Like on street codes, keeping it real. I understand that part too, and I'm living that life too.
Right. One of my mentors told me, he said, Salt, listen, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
I get that.
And I haven't forgot that. I remember, I guess it was the movie about Biggie Smalls, and it was a time when Biggie, he was still moving work, and they had him and Puff came to a crossroads. He was Puff at that time, I can say Puff. No disrespect, Mr. Combs. But he told him, he's like, listen, either you're going to be out there or you're going to be in, man. We can't do both of these, man.
That's true.
And so he was like, he had to make a turn, you know what I'm saying? And so Biggie could have kept it real because he from the streets, you know what I'm saying? Biggie was about that life now. He lived that life. So was he not keeping it real when he left that alone?
Yeah, he was keeping it real.
No, he was on his way up. It's like, listen, okay, I'm going to leave the streets. I'm going to leave that for somebody else.
You got an option right now. I got an option whether I could do this or I could do that. And his option was to do one.
Okay.
And not the other.
Right.
The other one was something stupid, you know what I mean? That ain't gonna get
money.
You may, but it's a lot of consequences that come with that getting money.
But some people consider still dabbling in those things. Is it keeping it real? There's a lot of rappers that's been gotten in trouble lately for keeping it real. They in the studio, but they still on that.
Want to be on.
They still want to be on that. So keeping it real has got a lot of people locked up.
Yeah.
So that's when you say, like, what actually is keeping it real? They was being them. That's what they come up with. That's what they know. That's all they know. But that's not all they knew.
But a lot of them rappers and stuff, they be portraying it.
I understand that.
It be facades and stuff like that. So I don't look at all them as keeping it real. Some of them just trying to be something that they ain't. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Trying to keep up with it. A real street person that's really in the street, they don't talk about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? They ain't splurging it out like that. I'm from the street. I'm real. Like,
I can tell you somebody else, Master P. He tried to keep it real in Louisiana.
And what happened to him?
And he's like, man, no. He said he just couldn't do it. He had to get out of Louisiana because everybody was always coming like he owed them. And he tried to show love, tried to give work and work as an employment. And he's like, you know what? This keeping it real thing, it ain't working, man. It ain't working. And I've heard people like other up and coming people who are stars now.
You could keep it real with people, or you could keep it real with yourself.
Okay.
All right. Now, that's a difference too. Now, if I'm just keeping it real with people, that's just trying to put on and make them feel good for themselves. Okay. I ain't putting on for people. Some people do that. You change for people. If I'm changing for myself. You understand me? I ain't putting on or keeping it real for nobody. You know what I mean?
Where you trying to go? Let's talk about that.
I'm trying to reach the limits, man. This podcast got a limit.
It's got a limit or no limit?
It got a limit that you could reach that is so high that it's really a no limit. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's really a no limit, but it's a limit. But we could get to that limit.
Okay.
But we got to have some type of, I don't know how to say it, but we got to come up with some kind of other things also to build us up, what I mean? And it's there. It's there.
It's here.
It's there.
It's here.
And what we doing now is right, you know, and it's right. And I'm going to continue doing what we doing.
Okay.
Till the skies get to the limit. You don't understand me?
I understand what you're saying.
Miami Heat.
Here we go. Yeah. So it's a big game tonight. Game 3 in Miami.
What you thinking? What you thinking right now?
What I'm thinking, Miami Heat is so unpredictable. They so unpredictable.
Dang.
You know, I was watching a sportscast the other day, and it was like, I'm glad
win.
I'm not your big sports guy, right? But I love sports. I enjoy it. I know a little history here and there. But they was baffled just like I am. It's like you just
you don't know.
You can't say whether or not
you're gonna win or not.
You had 5 people that scored 10 points apiece. They leading scorer the other night was not Jimmy Butler. But I like the Heat to go up 2-1 tonight. Just based on the unpredictability. It doesn't matter if they home or away. I like them to take it all.
You saw there's a lot of suicide by cop lately, I noticed.
Yeah.
A lot of it. You know, people really pointing their guns and obviously know they're going to get killed. Right? Not just being running and being crafty, but just they're there for that, calling the police themselves on a domestic, and there's no domestic there just to go outside with a gun to get shot.
Wow, it's hard for a person to just kill themselves.
Yeah, so they do
like,
it.
If I'm ready to go out at this point in my life, I'm not finna just say, let me do it this way. Let me the average person say, let me go out here and wreak havoc on people I love first or somebody that I hate.
Yeah.
And then let the police do it. I don't feel like doing it myself. I'd rather them kill me.
Yeah.
So I see what they do.
That. And there's a guy named Scott Peterson was the resource officer at Parkland. He's on trial. He starts trial this week for not going in.
Oh, for not going in.
Yeah. So those are the 2 things. Really, it's a slow day.
Yeah.
Hey, that's crazy, though.
What's crazy?
To be charged like that for not going in.
You think he should have went in?
I think he did what he could do. Like, what I supposed to do, I supposed to actually run in to die.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Like, I ain't got no expectation in life no more where I see a situation and I got to go run right into that situation and say, my family, let me just go do what the law tell me to go run in there and engage.
She's a police officer.
Yeah, but I still got to be in my safety. How many polices you done seen behind a car running, behind a car hiding? What he doing that for? What you hiding over there for? That little pussy. You don't know where my mindset is as a person and how I'm feared or scared at this point in time. I shouldn't be charged.
So you're on the police side on this
I wasn't the one. Yeah, I'm on that man's side. Yeah.
Okay. I know this, man. Like, when gunfire is ringing,
I'm running.
You don't know what you know to get out. You know to get out the way.
Gone.
Yeah.
If I can't, especially if I'm not seeing where it's coming.
If you just hearing it, you hear it. You know to get down and get as far away from it. That's instinct. But I think they're saying that he was trained.
He was trained. They trained to go in and engage.
And to at least go in and
engage.
See if he can take this man down.
He's the resource officer. That's his territory. He knows the side doors. He knows where the stairs are.
He know where everything is. He know how to creep in on this
advantage.
man.
Okay. Now you see what y'all saying. He know all this stuff.
Right.
Okay. We in this room right now. We hear a gunshot. Bah! We know exactly where this shit came from. Just because we know it's a room right here. It's an outside right there. It's 3 other bathrooms and rooms over there. Where the killer at right now? Tell me where he
I know
at.
he on the other side of that door.
That's all we know. That's all. Wherever he at, he know he's somewhere in this area. Right. I need some other people here. Help me out right now.
I think that, all jokes aside, and not making light of the lives that was
It
lost.
ain't funny.
It's funny in a way, right?
It ain't funny at all.
What I'm saying is, it's funny is because, like you say, this guy's being charged as if he could have prevented this from happening. As if, not saying that, as if he could have stopped it, right? But also because he didn't run in and risk his life, put his life on the line. that he was less of a police officer. I've heard people say that they're struggling with their mental health. They need to take care of their mental health. They need to take a mental health day and things like that. Who I believe are just taking advantage of that phrase, not of the fact of the truth of mental health, but of that phrase. You know, because that's what we're being told. You got to make sure you take care of your mental health. You know, mental health. There's a whole lot of other things that need to be taken care of also. I like what you said, because that is a real true point. How can you tell at what point someone needs the help and at what point that help would have deterred somebody from doing something stupid? I've been in situations where I was just like angry at the moment, you know, and just went somewhere and I don't know, and throw some bottles at walls and it's like crazy stuff.
Now, if somebody that was what they call a psychological, whoever determines that, they've seen that at that point when you did that, you're determined.
That would determine I have a lot of pent up rage, and it's probably due to some things that happened in my past. Yeah,
that could mean that, but it just happened at one time, and somebody seen it. Should they diagnose you as PTSD, bipolar, or one of those diseases that they use for that?
There's all kinds of diagnoses, man. What I do know is that's a whole nother personal issue for me, man, is where, like, I remember, and my timeline could be wrong, but around the 90s, little by little diagnosis started ticking up just a little bit. I remember the big thing was like 80s going to the 90s was remember the Ritalin and the ADD, and there was this big discussion about putting kids on Ritalin, and as time passed, they started realizing that a lot of the kids that had put on Ritalin wound up growing up to be drug addicts because they long had the Ritalin.
Men's was growing breasts.
And then it's like these diagnoses start taking off, and I remember hearing a little bit about like lithium imbalance, like towards the mid 90s. I remember I had a friend, he said his wife had a lithium imbalance. And you heard bipolar every now and then. And then by the end of the 90s, going to 2000s, it was like, okay, you had bipolar, you had ADD, and then it went to ADHD, and they started adding all these letters and all these diagnoses. And then it was like, okay, medication. And
checks. SSI.
Yeah, and it's like, they found,
give me one. I need one, man. I'm diagnosed, bro.
I think that, especially people coming out of prison who've done long time in prison, they should automatically be labeled with PTSD. Those are abnormal environments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not normal and I'm not looking for no sympathy or anything like that, but it's not normal to live in an environment where on a regular basis you're being told to bend over butt naked in front of another man and being told to spread your cheeks. Okay, it's not normal to watch somebody being stabbed to death and you have to stand there and watch that. That's not normal. These things are not normal to watch people die on a regular basis. On a regular basis, watching a helicopter land on your rec field.
You come out of there with more trauma than you went in.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Than what you went in.
It's impossible to live in that type of environment and not have something affected up here. I remember I saw this meme, right? It was a caterpillar and it was a butterfly. And they were sitting at the table. It had a little cup of tea. And so the caterpillar looked at the butterfly. He said, "You've changed." and the butterfly, you see the caption says, "You're supposed to." And so that's a part of life. We're supposed to. We have to change. There's some, sometimes I remember, man, this is just being honest. I remember trying to hold on as I approached my 30s, trying to hold on to who I was in my early 20s. Holding my early 20s, man, I got to get back to how I used to be, man. I used to let things go. And one day, something clicked. It was like, it is impossible to be the guy that I was at 22 years old. It's impossible because I know more than I knew at 22. Okay. I've been places I hadn't been at 22. And there's some places I done been that had I known at 22 I was going to go, I probably would have been doing some of that dumb stuff.
You know, while you saying that, I look at, like, when I go through my neighborhood, I look at these guys, and they still trying to be who they used to be. Yeah. They still want to put on that same image that they had back in the days, and it's an ugly ass image to me. You know what I'm saying? It don't even make sense to me to even see it. I laugh at people like that.
That's all they got, though.
The same image, like,
all they got.
It's nothing new out here you want to be.
When you went and like, I know a group of people I grew up with, they still holding on to that same image, but they're all endorsing each other's same image. They all back that up. You know what I'm saying? So when you're around people when you're around people that are still treating you as you was, and you're treating them as they was, you're always gonna, if you're treating people as they was and people are treating you as you was, then you'll always be what you was, and you'll always get what you got. I get you. You understand what I'm saying? And so I don't like what D.L. Hughley said. I don't hang around people who have nothing to lose. I don't hang around people who don't have any sense. And to me, sense is
talking about then.
Huh?
Who he was talking about?
I don't know who he was talking about. You'd have to ask him. But I know that I believe that to a degree he was talking about our culture, because we have a bad habit of hanging around people still that we shouldn't be hanging around with when we're trying to do better. It's not that we are better, but we're trying to do better. If you're trying to do better, then you got to be around better. If I want to be a millionaire,
I got to hang around
people that know how to make money.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, if you want to be a drug dealer, you know who you have to hang around? Some drug dealers. So I want to be successful. And so there's different meanings and levels of success and so on, but choose to hang around people that are successful in their own right.
You should write a book.
I probably will. You'll buy it?
Yeah, I buy it.
Will you read it, or you gonna get the audio book?
I don't know how to read yet.
Okay. All right, that's okay. Reading is fundamental. You remember that commercial?
You can teach me.
No, I'm not going back that far.
I was watching Breakfast Club. You watch Breakfast Club?
I haven't watched it lately.
Okay. They had a girl on there. She had said in a relationship, she asked women would they rather have a young man with stamina or an older man with knowledge. Could we reverse that question to them? Like, how could we reverse that question to a woman?
I want a woman who knows what she wants, has a pretty good idea of where she's going, and maybe.
So how would you ask a woman that question? Like, to reverse that question that she asked, how would you word that question?
I don't know. That's a good question. We really basic and like it was simple.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes a man wants a younger woman. Sometimes a man wants an older woman. There was a time when I was younger, I just wanted older women. I didn't want a young woman. I thought they were silly. And as I got older, the gap started closing a little bit. I know that some of the women my age, they seem to have all the answers. And they seem to have been around the block, and they know they're not going to take this and they're not going to take that. And
so you don't need that in your life, right?
No, I don't need that.
You want to take advantage of somebody?
No, it's not that I don't take advantage. It's just that
you scared of a person that got that kind of knowledge in life.
I don't know about knowledge. I'm scared of a person that's got that kind of scars. That kind of baggage.
Don't you got some scars?
Yeah.
So how about somebody look at your scars and say, "Damn, I don't want him. He got them scars."
And that's okay. That's okay.
What is that?
That's okay.
That's nothing I can relate to.
That's why you are who you are and I am who I am. You know what I'm saying? You like what you like, and I like what I like. I get it. I heard somebody say, they say you got women, some of the playing kind and some of the keeping kind. Okay, the playing kind and then the keeping kind are two totally different ones. Like, yeah, man,
Okay, so what would be a keeping kind to you?
Like the one I have right now. Yeah, there's a mutual respect where at times in the past when I was with somebody, and I think this is due part to my immaturity too, where if I was asked to do something and there was a mentality like, she won't ask me to do nothing. The people in my past, the women in my past, I should say, it was a lot of my actions that made those relationships bad. I was good in putting responsibility on everybody else. I was good at, let me call it what it is, I was very good at blaming. I was good at blaming. I could blame my exes. I could blame the police. I could blame the government. I could blame everybody
but yourself.
But me. Everybody else had the responsibility. And what I learned was that when I blamed everybody else, it gave everybody else the power to determine what my life was going to be. And when I began to learn how to take responsibility for my actions, good and bad, because I have some good actions too, you know, I began to learn that I could steer the course of my life. Mm-hmm. My life ain't based on what I believe somebody did to me or what happened to me or what kind of childhood I feel like I should have had. There comes a time when you have to accept that you're never going to have the past you believe you should have had. You understand what I'm saying? There comes a time when we have to stand up for what's right and not for what everybody else thinks is right, but for, as you alluded to earlier, keeping it real to yourself and stand up for what you know is right, not believe. There's a lot of things that people believe is right, but it ain't right.
That's real.
I think today it's really important that if we can teach our kids, we can teach ourselves, and not just teach, but show how to take responsibility for ourselves, things would get better. If everybody would take responsibility for their actions and stop blaming people, I think we could get somewhere. I'm not talking about world peace. We ain't never gonna have no world peace. You can't change the world around you.
Yeah. That's
you know what I'm saying? You start at. You know, everybody want to change the world, but nobody want to start with yourself. Responsibility is key.